Welcome back to art, everybody, and I have been very industrious making many jelly plates. Now I love making jelly plates and I'm able to melt them down in between uses or when they start cracking or breaking, and I can reset them. Now I have been using the same plates and then adding to the recipe, I guess, for the last 3 years. I've got this wonderful A5 size and this wonderful A4 size, and you can see that it's somewhat discolored, but still good to go. Still works really well and very tough. The more you melt them down, the tougher the plates become. But I decided I wanted something that I could transport around. So I went to my dollar shop and I bought little lunch boxes. And I pop these in the fridge. Oh, there isn't anything on the bottom. There isn't an indent there. So I'm going to be able to use both sides of the plate. Now, as any good artist does, we go and have a look on the internet and we see what other people are doing. And I was really impressed by people who were creating or using circular plates. Now, the same brand, I guess. There isn't an indent on the bottom, so I can use both sides, and that's the thickness I created. I've had these sitting in the fridge overnight, just to give them a little bit more strength. Look at this one, isn't it beautiful? And again, I can pop a lid on and transport it easily. Let's take a look at the video. I went foraging for leaves and ferns in my local area, and I focused on smaller and more detailed flora because my circular plates are smaller than the ones I usually use. This time my choice of colour to start with was blue. Usually I use yellow, but I really wanted to try the blue. This is a new plate and sometimes you need to work into your plates a little bit. That means you just warm them up and use them for a little while before you create your masterpieces. But along the way, you're going to be creating some beautiful work. This new plate has worked surprisingly well. So I'm creating about 4 or 5 prints per colour. A couple of positive and a couple of negative prints. This yellow negative looks a bit like bamboo. It looks amazing. And the positive has so much detail in it. The variety of prints that you can pull using different flora, different leaves, different ferns, different flowers is sensational, and the students really appreciate it. No 2 prints look the same. This does mean you can't necessarily plan each print, but you know what? There's an element of surprise here and an element of luck. I live in a tropical environment, so ferns are plentiful. Ferns work super well. The leaves are thin and full of gorgeous detail. If you've watched some of my other videos, you'll hear me say time and time again that there are not that many rules with jelly printing. You've got to be respectful to the plate and it can break, but really go for it. Here I'm using Amsterdam and Liquitex acrylics, but you can also use inks that are more specific for printing. Acrylic paints are fantastic to use with students. Not only are they student friendly, but they're also very forgiving. So you'll know from painting, if you make a mistake, you can go over with a couple of layers and erase that mistake. You'll notice that my plate is deteriorating a little bit here, so I've turned it over to use the other side. You'll find when you first create your jelly plates that they're a little delicate. The more you melt them down, the tougher and the stronger they become. At the end of this video, I do just that. I melt it down and I reset them. So if you keep watching to the end, you'll be able to see how I did that. Don't be afraid of colour, and don't be afraid of mixing colours. If the colour doesn't work, you can just try and add another one on top of it. I particularly love white. White I find is hauntingly beautiful. So I often use it towards the end, but sometimes I use it in the middle of my prints. I do enjoy black too, but it can start to muddy colours if you want to print colour on top. Another handy hint is to keep a packet of wipes so that you can wipe down your plates and clean them. I have an A4 piece of paper next to my print and I use that to clean my brayer in between each print. Here you go. This is the beautiful white. How awesome does that look? This is just beautiful. This is the magic, and this is why we do what we do. This concludes the first time of using circular Gelli plates, the plates that I made. I would definitely do it again. Now, I did find that my plate deteriorated quicker. Now, it could be to do with the humidity, so I've cut it up, put it in a bowl. There was 3 plates, and I melted it down and then poured it through a sieve to get rid of the painted bits, and then reset. And they'll be good to go in a few hours. So I hope the new shapes add to your repertoire. Happy Gelli printing!